In any case, another young islander was a man called Thomas Francis Maher, who escaped in 1852 and became a leading newspaper man, married an iron foundry, sort of the daughter of the American equivalent of BHP, was a newspaper editor, lawyer in New York, leading Democrat, and became a Union general in World War II, in the Civil War, slight difference. A Union general in the Civil War, was part of Lincoln's honor guard at Lincoln's funeral, became military governor and then acting governor of Montana, and was either drowned or assassinated, I believe assassinated, in 1867 in the Missouri River in Montana. His statue is outside the Montana legislature as a Union general. The capital of Montana is Helena, and there is an escaped Tasmanian convict astride his horse, right with his sword in the air, right in front of the legislature, which shows you that one man's political prisoner is another man's governor of Montana. Anyhow, there's a lot about the young islanders upstairs. And they are a fantastic subject for novels that I will never get round to writing. So if you have a literary bent, maybe you can attack those books. Anything with young islander on it. William Smith O'Brien's journal is upstairs too, and the man whose house is at Port Arthur. And that's fascinating reading, because he was able to live after he agreed to take a ticket of leave. He refused to take a ticket of leave for years because he said, I've done nothing wrong. The Governor, Denison, has no right to give me, or the British government have no right to give me a ticket of leave. I give myself leave. And he ultimately took a ticket of leave, and he lived in a beautiful little town many of you may have been in called New Norfolk. Thomas Francis Maher lived in Ross. He married a highwayman's daughter, and the highwayman's daughter died in her youth, but his baby is buried outside the church in Ross. And these are fascinating blokes and passionate men, and very flawed. One of them was called Mitchell, and I believe Mitchell's jail journal is upstairs. But I was reading from, he made a great escape from Tasmania. Tammany Hall, the Democratic machine in New York, sent an agent out to help him escape. And he ultimately escaped from Hobart dressed as a priest after 2 or 3 attempts to escape via Launceston. And Mrs. Mitchell says, the Irish convict servants in Van Diemen's Land are appalling. They have no manners, and they're undereducated, which is, of course, the sad truth. The point she doesn't get is that her husband was willing to die for them in the uprising. And it's very interesting how many revolutionaries are like that. They will do anything for the proletariat, except when they get too close to them, they find them smelly, ill-mannered, don't know how to set a table, you know. And that's just one of the little ironies that is enshrined upstairs. I am very excited, before leaving you time to ask questions, that the library is living on. Because what do you do with a library like that, even after you've taken out the Steeden and the picture of Gough Whitlam, which I won in a raffle, you know. But I talk too much and he talks too much, so it's a good match. You know, say you were hit by a truck. What do you do with, and your daughters are suddenly left with having to deal with all those books. And some of them are valuable and some of them are only fit for the local second-hand bookstore. But it's all a problem to get rid of. And the Mechanics School Institute, School of Arts, has dealt with that problem for me, and has also given these books an extra life. And that's a wonderful thing. So ultimately, at the moment, I've got at home a library which is heavily based on Australian literature and Australian history, and ultimately it will be upstairs too. In the histories, I've got the next history half written, and it's hard to tell anew the story of things that happened in the past, but it's possible. So a great poet that I have always admired, and I only met him once, Kenneth Slessor. He was the first official war correspondent in World War II. So I tell World War II from his point of view instead of from a General Blamey's point of view. I don't like General Blamey anyhow. And I love Kenneth Slessor. And of course then there's the fact that Slessor didn't really write after the war. All his best writing was in the 30s, and to the end of the war, that brilliant poem, Beach Burial, about the sailors being washed up on the shores of Libya, and on the shores of the Red Sea. That is a magnificent poem. And so books like that are still at home, but they'll ultimately, inevitably end upstairs. So that's the story, and now we can have questions. Thank you.